Donald Trump's love affair with the word tariff has taken us down an interesting path. Now, on the campaign trail, it was really easy to just point and laugh about how much Donald Trump completely misunderstands our economy, misunderstands tariffs, and really just wants to present himself as a strong man, never actually had a plan for anything. But now that he is going forward with their implementation, it's no longer funny. It's just scary. And it should be scary for Donald Trump as well, because last night we already saw how these tariffs have backfired on Donald Trump, but it seems like there is more to the story than was just reported in the press. And a lot of it has to do with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who delivered one of the best messages against Donald Trump's tariffs, so much so that it was reshared by the president of Colombia. And ultimately, Donald Trump caved to them, which has become abundantly clear in the hours since. And we are going to get into all of that and how Donald Trump was humiliated. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already, you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really means the world to me. Now, before we get into what effect AOC had on all of this tariff conversation, I want to flash back to something Donald Trump said when he was asked about tariffs just a bit ago.
Are you concerned that tariffs might hurt the stock market rise that you have seen and the economy more broadly?
Make our country rich. Tariffs will make our country rich.
But won't they raise prices?
Properly used. Well, I didn't have any inflation, and I had massive tariffs on a lot of things. We put tariffs on steel. If I didn't put tariffs on steel, 50% and more, they were dumping steel in, China and others. I put tariffs on, and it stopped, and we took a fortune. We made a fortune on it. Tariffs, properly used, which we will do, and being reciprocal with other nations, but it'll make our country rich.
So he continues to be asked this question, and he clearly doesn't like it, about the impact that tariffs will have on rising costs, something that was central to Donald Trump's campaign, and then was immediately thrown out the window when he was inaugurated. He doesn't care about bringing prices down, and he also doesn't care that prices are going up. Of course, we see the skyrocketing price of eggs that are up about 35, 40, even 50% some places. But we are not going to see a Donald Trump that cares about costs. We're going to see a Donald Trump that cares about presenting himself as strong. But he failed on both of those issues with his big tariff trade war last night, and I want to get into how AOC was a part of that as we check out this article right here. AOC rages about coffee prices after Trump hits Colombia over deportees, lining the pockets of himself and billionaire class. AOC raged Sunday about the price of coffee in America after President Donald Trump and the government of Colombia squared off over deportations and tariffs. On Saturday, Trump announced emergency tariffs against Colombia after the South American country denied 2 U.S. military aircrafts carrying migrants being deported under his administration's crackdown. Very shortly after, Trump shared the news on his Truth Social app. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro caved, offering his own presidential plane as transport for deportees. He then also ordered his own tariffs on goods from the United States and wrote an extensive and off-the-rails response to Trump in a post on X. Meanwhile, AOC responded by taking Petro's side and arguing that coffee is now going to cost more due to the battle between the Colombian president and Donald Trump, but did not mention Petro's punitive tariff on U.S. goods. Colombia is the third largest trading partner to the U.S. and Latin America. To punish Colombia, Trump is about to make every American pay even more for coffee, AOC wrote to her followers on X. Remember, we pay the tariffs, not Colombia. In the full post, AOC wrote, to punish Colombia, Trump is about to make every American pay more for coffee. Remember, we pay the tariffs, not Colombia. Trump is all about making inflation worse for working class people, not better. He's lining the pockets of himself and the billionaire class. So on its face, it seemed like a win for Donald Trump last night, or at least MAGA wanted it to seem like a win, even though things are going to get more expensive in the U.S. because of Donald Trump's mass deportation plan. But what wasn't exactly covered is why the president of Colombia was upset with Donald Trump, why he got into this bit of a spat, this trade war that will affect us all. And it's the reason the president of Colombia actually retweeted that post from AOC. And there's a tweet that I think was a perfect synopsis of why this all happened that I want to check out right here. To be clear, what happened was Trump flew the deportees in on a military plane in shackles. Colombia demanded they be flown in on their own presidential plane instead. Trump threatened sanctions, and then he folded, and Colombia got exactly what it wanted. The story has been spun that Colombia sent their own plane. It was, oh, thank you so much, President Trump. But in fact, they just wanted humane treatment of those being sent back to the country. And Donald Trump started a trade war out of that and is now costing Americans, and still ended up caving to what the president of Colombia wanted. And now AOC's call out is what is ringing true for many Americans who are realizing, slowly but surely, we are paying the tariffs, and Donald Trump's anger is actually impacting you. His rageful posting is going to make your daily life much more expensive. That's what we've always been telling people. And unfortunately, it's going to take feeling that pain at the cash register to actually understand it. But that's what MAGA is all about. Like AOC said, helping the billionaire class and not caring about you. That hypocrisy is always present, and more of that hypocrisy was called out by Jamie Raskin in a clip I want to check out right here.
Restore the rule of law. Can you even pretend to do that if you stand by and support Donald Trump, who on day one, as the chairman of the committee just said, day one of his presidency, pardoned 1,500 insurrectionists, including hundreds of people who violently assaulted and attacked American police officers? Let's just take one person who is free today, Julian Cater, who had been convicted after having every due process protection, the right to counsel, the right to cross-examine witnesses, the right to introduce evidence, but they had him completely. They knew exactly what happened. Most of this was videotaped so the whole world could see it. Well, Julian Cater repeatedly, violently assaulted our officer protecting us in Congress, Officer Brian Sicknick, who then proceeded to have several strokes and died on January the 7th, 2021, the next day. The family of Officer Sicknick is absolutely devastated and demolished by what's just happened. I invite any of my colleagues, including the members new to this committee who maybe weren't here on January 6th and didn't experience the trauma of that violent insurrection, when we saw a mob marauding through here yelling, "Hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence," and looking to assassinate Nancy Pelosi. And now you have the temerity to come forward and say this is about public safety? How much safer are we now with these 1,500 criminals at large in Washington, D.C., and going out into the country? Are you vouching that these people are not going to be attacking any other police officers? Are you vouching that they're no longer a threat to public safety? What an outrage. What a scandal. Well, the hearing has been called not on trying to deal with the public safety crisis created by the president on day one of his presidency, but on immigration. Now, time and again, Democrats have reached across the aisle to fix our immigration system by finding common ground through compromise. We did it in 1986 with a Democratic-led House and a Republican-led Senate when we passed the immigration reform signed into law by President Reagan 4 decades ago. In 2013, under President Obama, Democrats worked with Senate Republicans on a sweeping immigration reform bill, only to have House Republicans kill it because it threatened Speaker Boehner's grip on power. Last year, under President Biden, Democrats worked with Republican Senator Lankford to produce a tough border security deal with increased border patrol, with increased border technology, with increased asylum judges at the border, but President Trump and House Republicans openly and aggressively tanked the deal. They sank the ship, openly rejecting a bipartisan border agreement hailed by the most conservative Republicans in the Senate because they preferred to have a security crisis to run on than an actual border solution. And yet, as Democrats, we stand ready again to work with our colleagues to fix the broken immigration system. Today, unlawful crossings at the border are much lower than they were when President Trump left office. We made progress. Now is the time for us to tackle the daunting task of finding compromise and pragmatic solutions to fix the system that has not been updated in decades, a system that relegates millions of people to the shadows and leaves other people in limbo. Let's secure the border. Let's make it a lot harder to get into America illegally and a lot easier to get into America lawfully. That's what America wants to see. Let's not use immigration to destroy our Constitution. Unbelievable that a lot of my friends on the other side of the aisle are sitting by idly while Donald Trump proposes by executive order to destroy Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, which establishes that everybody born in the United States is a citizen of the United States. And yet, they just let that go. All of these originalists and textualists who claim to care about what the Constitution stands for, that was the whole purpose and meaning of the 14th Amendment, and now they want to destroy birthright citizenship in America, moving to a citizenship based on race instead of a citizenship based on place, which was the whole purpose of the 14th Amendment, to overturn the Dred Scott decision. Well, we're obviously going to have some differences moving forward because they don't want real solutions. They just want to demagogue the immigration issue. That doesn't move America forward. It's just like they demagogued the issue of inflation. They said they were going to bring down prices in rent, in utilities, energy costs. They said they were going to bring down the price of groceries. Not a single peep from them about that on day one. No, it's just about releasing all the violent insurrectionists, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers who are out there today saying that they want revenge. That's the real program for America. But let's hear what their specific proposals are about immigration. If they make sense, then we will get behind them. But if it's just more demagoguery, Mr. Chairman, I'm afraid we're going to have to let it pass. Thank you, and I yield back.
I thank the gentleman for reminding all of us why the people voted as they did on November.
We need to be calling out more of this hypocrisy and talking to people about how it is going to impact their day-to-day lives, because we can't just talk about how ridiculous Donald Trump is all the time. We have to make the tangible connections. Of course, people don't like that their president is a crazy person, but most people don't care as long as they think things are getting cheaper. But if we can connect that already unpopular outrage that Donald Trump brings to everything with the reason prices are going up, we can make a much better case of why the MAGA majority is unfit to lead our country. And that is what we're going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.